It just wouldn't be a what-if finale without a crossover event from previous episodes, would it? Season 1 brought us the Guardians of the Multiverse, with the Watcher stepping in to recruit a hero from nearly every previous episode so they could join together and defeat Ultron. This time around, it's less a question of pulling from every episode and more a conclusion of the unofficial Captain Carter trilogy that has been threaded throughout the season. After all, why would this be the only episode of the season to open with that full movie-style Marvel logo opening showing the what-if versions of the characters? What is What If Season 2, Episode 9 about? The episode begins back in that 1602 pub, with Peggy having a drink with Strange Supreme newly arrived from the future. Peggy asks him to take her back to her own time, and Strange is only too happy to do so. The Watcher reminds us this is the version of Stephen Strange that destroyed his own world in an attempt to prevent his love Christine Palmer from dying. And if there's anyone we can trust to have only good, altruistic intentions at heart, it's the man for whom enough was never enough. But the Watcher says the two of them must now band together to prevent yet another unprecedented threat. And while we can't trust Strange, we can definitely trust the Watcher, right? Strange takes Peggy to his Sanctum Infinitum, a palace-like structure empty, save for the countless crystal orbs that line the walls, each containing a universe killer, powerful beings that, according to Strange, were trying to destroy their own universes. Strange has made it his mission to travel to these respective universes and trap them in these crystals, saving the respective worlds from destruction, something he snidely remarks that the Watcher would never do. But he didn't just bring her here to show off the world's most niche action figure collection, he also needs her help. One of the dangerous beings he's trapped has escaped, and he needs Peggy's help to track them down. Just as Strange gives Peggy her original armor back and is about to send her through to where he last tracked the powerful being, Peggy wonders why he needs her help at all. He explains that Peggy is the element of surprise that will catch the mysterious her off guard. Peggy asks how she'll know she's found the her she's looking for, and Strange replies with a very helpful, "You'll know." Then again, superpowered beings don't exactly blend in, so maybe he has a point there. Peggy Carter teams up with Kahhori. Peggy heads through to the spot in South Dakota where Strange last saw the being, and finds a destroyed forest leading to a very different version of Mount Rushmore, with only Red Skull's face carved into the mountainside. The Watcher finds Peggy there and tells her that in this universe, the bomb that went off during Project Rebirth, where, depending on the universe, either Peggy or Steve got the Super Solator Serum, was bigger than expected and killed both of them, allowing Hydra to use the Tesseract to win World War II. Peggy is resentful that the Watcher followed her here, but doesn't seem interested in actually helping her, and he scolds her for interfering in yet another world that is not her own. When she fires back that at least Strange is actually doing something, and not just narrating, the Watcher gets frustrated and leaves. The powerful being makes herself known to Peggy pretty quickly, appearing only as a streak of Tesseract blue light, and it turns out to be Kahhori. Kahhori correctly guesses that Peggy is there to help save the multiverse from her, at Strange's request, then tells the captain that it is actually Strange who is the universe killer. Strange then appears and tries to imprison Kahhori too. Kahhori mentions the Forge, which turns out to be Strange's plan all along. Peggy realizes he's doing all this to save Christine, and Strange says that she, out of anyone, should understand what's driving him, telling her she'd do the same for Steve. She tells Strange that she'd never do something like this for Steve, nor would Steve ever want her to, implying Christine would not like to know what Strange is attempting in order to bring her back. Peggy realizes she can't stop him alone, but fortunately, she isn't really alone. She's got all those crystallized heroes and villains to help her. Peggy throws her shield at the wall, taking a bunch of the proverbial action figures out of the original packaging, infuriating Strange. Now distracted with a room full of very angry superpowered beings, Peggy grabs Kahhori to get her the hell out of there and destroy the Forge before he has a chance to use it. The two of them make it out of the single most chaotic fight scene Marvel has ever done, but stop dead in their tracks when faced with fog and an ominous red light. Wanda is here, but not just regular Wanda, it is Zombie Wanda, accompanied by a zombie army. The pair fight through the crowd and are nearly overwhelmed by the sheer number of zombies, until, as one, their eyes glow green. Hela has arrived to save the day, sort of. Kahhori is just about ready to give Hela the Queen Isabella treatment, but is stopped when Surtur arrives, and he and Hela fight each other instead. Peggy and Kahhori are running out of time to get to the Forge, especially as Strange begins to send people like Thanos after them. But even Thanos has nothing on a Killmonger armed with the Infinity Stones, whom Peggy remembers all too well from the fight to save the multiverse. But she also realizes the solution is right in front of them, and tells Kahhori that to stop Strange, they'll have to get the stones away from Killmonger. Kahhori embraces the task and blasts Killmonger away to the chaotic fray they left for Strange, leaving behind only the Infinity Stone-encrusted suit. Peggy touches the suit, and the 6 stones embed themselves into her armor. By the time they get to the Forge, Strange is already waiting for them, unfazed by Peggy's new Infinity Stone armor, since he helped defeat that armor once before. Peggy seems remarkably confident that this time it'll be different because she's the one in the suit. but then she proceeds to just throw her shield at him. The pair of them split up as Strange sicks a pair of dragons on them. Peggy takes on the beasts, using her new armor, while Kahhori focuses on destroying the forge. He takes Kahhori's taunt about being outnumbered too seriously and summons an entire army of Strange Supremes, which only inspires Peggy to do the same and replicate herself and Kahhori. This doesn't hold Strange off for long, as he turns all the duplicate women into butterflies and forces Peggy into a flashback of the day she got the super soldier serum. She blinks and finds herself back in the lab, side by side with Steve, and very confused about whether this is really happening. Steve tells her that he loves her, and Peggy is forced to admit this is just a vision Strange is putting in her head. Peggy snaps out of it, and he yanks everyone out of the fight in the main hall and tries to drop them in the forge. As everyone falls into the forge, they begin throwing their powerful weapons towards the women. The two of them don a combination of the weapons, now finally gaining the upper hand in the fight until Strange turns into a massive horned demon, who still seems to think he'll just bring Christine back, and none of this will give her pause at all. The Infinity Stones fall from Peggy's armor, and Kahhori helps her fit them into a glove that she uses to literally punch the evil right out of Strange. With Strange mostly returned to normal, Peggy asks him how they can stop the forge from exploding, and Strange says he can't help because his grief is too strong. The evil doesn't stay out of him for long, and he once again turns into a demon, hauling Peggy into the pit. Strange gets control just long enough to haul his demon self into the depths while leaving Peggy hanging on a ledge, but that doesn't stop the forge from apparently exploding. What if Season 2? Finale builds to a strange conclusion. Peggy once again blacks out and wakes somewhere new, this time in the crystal-like void, where the Watcher does all his watching. He assures her that he pulled her out and sent Kahhori back home before the explosion. The two then venture into the universe Strange was trying to recreate. The Watcher tells Peggy that while he was successful in remaking it, he was never born into it, and thus will never get to see it. He also says that it was Peggy's belief in that one sliver of good in Strange that allowed the world to be recreated, since it was that side of him that managed it, and it was the side she never gave up on. The Watcher offers at last to take Peggy back to her universe, but she asks to take the scenic route back, curious to see what else the multiverse has to offer, and the Watcher pulls her to a place that looks awfully like where we find Loki at the end of Loki Season 2. I'd normally say this was just a cute nod, but given how this show has gone, who knows? Maybe Loki and Captain Carter are getting their own spin-off in Season 3.